before the day breaks. Count the components of all our mistakes. The runway is covered in a heavy gray fog, like a final entry in a captain's log. The engines are humming a low minor drone as I take a seat in the cabin alone, taking the last flight through the rainy night sky, waving a slow and definitive goodbye to all the complex patterns we used to share, dissolving completely into the cold air. Looking down at the city, a cluster of blurs, as the ultimate feeling of freedom occurs, flying straight into the dark silver cloud, where the absolute silence is heavy and loud, disappearing from every familiar place, leaving no shadow or a single trace, taking the last flight through the rainy night sky, waving a slow and definitive goodbye to all the complex patterns we used to share, dissolving completely into the cold air. The altitude guide the mind, leaving the mess and the sorrow behind. A beautiful emptiness opens up wide, with nothing left to maintain or to hide. Taking the last flight through the rainy night sky, a slow and definitive goodbye to all the complex patterns we used to share, dissolving completely into the cold air. A beautiful emptiness, the charcoal is smudging on the drawing paper white, tracing the cold boundaries of a long and lonely night. The rain has a way of dissolving the clean lines of our most beautiful and sophisticated designs. I watch the sketch soften into a dark blur as the old shadows of your presence recur. Behind the heavy mist, the geometric shapes start to bend, a slow motion sequence that leads directly to the end, with every altered dominant that breaks the space. I slowly forget the symmetry years away. We tried to carve love on a surface of melting ice, paying a heavy and a permanent price. Behind the heavy mist, the geometric shapes start to bend, a slow motion sequence that leads directly to the end. With every altered dominant that breaks the space, I slowly forget the symmetry of your face. Tear up the paper and scatter the charcoal dust. There's nothing left in this sequence to trust. We are just phantoms inside a dark picture frame, forgetting the vowels that make up your name. Behind the heavy mist, the geometric shapes start to bend, a slow motion sequence that leads directly to the end. With every altered dominant that breaks the space, I slowly forget the symmetry of your face. Symmetry, blur. Symmetry, blur. Pack up the ledger before the cold day breaks. Count the components of all our major mistakes. The runway's covered in a heavy and dark gray fog, like a final entry inside a captain's log. The engines are humming a low minor drone as I take my seat in the quiet cabin alone, taking the last flight through the rainy night sky, waving a slow and a definitive goodbye to all the complex patterns we used to share, dissolving completely into the cold, rainy air. Looking down at the city, a cluster of blurry lights, ending all our beautiful and lonely nights, flying straight into the dark silver cloud, where the absolute silence is heavy and loud, disappearing from every single familiar place, leaving no shadow or a single traceable trace, taking the last flight through the rainy night sky, waving a slow and a definitive goodbye to all the complex patterns we used to share, dissolving completely into the cold, rainy air. Close your eyes, let the high solitude guide the mind, leaving the mess and the old sorrow far behind. A beautiful emptiness opens up so wide, with nothing left to maintain or to hide. Taking the last flight through the rainy night sky, waving a slow and a definitive goodbye to all the complex patterns we used to share, dissolving completely into the cold, rainy air. A beautiful emptiness, goodbye. The charcoal is smudging on the paper white, tracing the boundaries of a lonely night. The rain has a way of dissolving the lines of our most beautiful and complex designs. I watch the sketch soften into a blur as the old shadows of your presence recur. Behind the mist, the shapes start to bend, a slow motion sequence that leads to the end. With every altered dominant that breaks the space, I slowly forget the symmetry of your face. A chilly wind whistles through the window crack, bringing the bitterest memories back. The city is drowning in an ocean of gray, sweeping the remaining colors away. We tried to carve love on a surface of ice, paying a heavy and permanent price. Behind the mist, the shapes start to bend, a slow motion sequence that leads to the end. With every altered dominant that breaks the space, I slowly forget the symmetry of your face. The paper and scatter the dust. There's nothing left in this sequence to trust. We are just phantoms inside a dark frame, forgetting the vowels that make up your name. Behind the mist, the shapes start to bend, a slow motion sequence that leads to the end. With every altered dominant that breaks the space, I slowly forget the symmetry of your face. Scatter the dust. purple velvet line across the dark horizon where the storm clouds align. The water is heavy on the garden petals outside, in this quiet corner where my thoughts can safely abide. I hear the slow weeping of a single cello string, a melancholic sequence that the midnight hours bring. Your silk scarf is resting on the old sofa couch, holding a fragrance that I can no longer avouch. I sit in the shadows and let the dark space grow into a sanctuary that only you and I know. The cadence of raindrops is rhythmic and deep, a heavy companion before I can fall into sleep. Purple velvet hours are wrapping my lonely mind, leaving the messy arguments far behind. With every syncopated chord that vibrates the air, I dissolve completely into this peaceful despair. Syncopated chord that vibrates the air, I dissolve completely into this peaceful despair. Peaceful despair. The incense is burning down into the tray, turning the colorful choices to gray. A solitary shadow is cast on the wall, watching the heavy rain filter and fall. The air is too thick with the scent of the past, a beautiful sequence that wasn't meant to last. I trace the dust motes that dance in the room, sinking right into this lavender gloom. You left a sweater behind on the chair, but the warmth has dissolved in the chilly night air. No letters to write and no promises made, just watching the embers of intimacy fade. Listen to the water, it sings in a key that opens the locked up chambers of me. A minor 11 listen to the water, it sings in a key that opens the locked up chambers of me. A minor 11 that vibrates so deep, soothing the memories that I wanted to keep. Soon the memories The twilight is painting a purple design across the horizon where the dark clouds align. The water is heavy on the petals outside, in this quiet corner where my thoughts can abide. I hear the slow weeping of a cello string, a melancholic song that the dark hours bring. Your silk scarf is resting on the velvet couch, holding a fragrance that I can't avouch. I sit in the shadows and let the room grow into a sanctuary that only we know. The cadence of raindrops is steady and deep, a heavy companion before I can sleep. Purple velvet hours are wrapping my mind, leaving the messy arguments far behind. With every altered chord that vibrates the air, I dissolve into this peaceful despair. Leaving the messy arguments far behind. With every altered chord that vibrates the air, I dissolve into this peaceful despair. Peaceful despair. The vinyl record skips upon a dusty line, a repetitive shadow of your heartbeat and mine. The aroma of the kitchen has turned a bit sour, exact center of this heavy rainy hour. I count the miniature cracks on the old desk, finding the geometric patterns so grotesque. We are just loops inside a fractured design, drifting along on a distorted minor line. Don't look for answers, don't look for the key. Just float completely on this unforgiving sea. An abandoned umbrella lies flat on the street, soaked in the muddy puddles where the currents meet. It looks like a wing that was broken in a flight, a tragic illustration in the middle of the night. We tried to soar high through the cloud and the mist, chasing a peaceful island that didn't exist. We are just loops inside a fractured design, drifting along on a distorted minor line. Don't look for answers, don't look for the key. Just float completely on this unforgiving sea. Are flickering under the wet weight of a silent and heavy and unyielding fate. Clear up the fractions from the ceramic plate. We reach the ending and it's getting way too late. We are just loops inside a fractured design, drifting along on a distorted minor line. Don't look for answers, don't look for the key. Just float completely on this unforgiving sea. A fractured design. The incense is melting down into the glass tray, turning the colorful elements into a shade of gray. A lonely silhouette is projected on the side wall, watching the constant rain filter and slowly fall. The room is too heavy with the fragrance of the past, a beautiful sequence that wasn't designed to last. I trace the dust motes that circulate the room, drowning completely in this heavy lavender gloom. You left a wool sweater behind on the armchair, but the remaining warmth has dissolved in the air. No letters to complete and no more promises made, just watching the embers of our intimacy intimacy fade. Listen to the water, it sings in a minor key that unlocks the hidden chambers deep inside of me. A nylon vibration that resonates so deep, soothe the memories that I always wanted to keep. Stretch out as long as it possibly can before the early dawn breaks our fragile plan. We don't need a fire, we don't need a light to guide our spirits through this melancholic night. Listen to the water, it sings in a minor key that unlocks the hidden chambers deep inside of me. A nylon vibration that resonates so deep, soothe the memories that I always wanted to keep. Soothe the memories. The ink of the sky is bleeding into gray, stealing the leftover smiles of the day. I stare at the steam from my porcelain cup, watching the lonely illusions grow up. A single heavy droplet hits the cold stone, a steady reminder that I am alone. The clock on the wall is dragging its hands like a weary traveler in frozen lands. Your empty chair has a shadow so deep, holding the secrets that we couldn't keep. No footsteps coming up the wooden stair, just the cold currents of the misty air. Listen to the rain as it falls on the street, where our lost promises and teardrops meet. Don't rush the tempo, just let it stay blue under this sky that reminds me of you. The neon signs outside are turned into stains, blurring the edges of my silent pains. I turn the page of a book I can't read, chasing a comfort I no longer need. Another hour is dissolving like smoke, buried inside every word that we broke. Listen to the rain as it falls on the street, where our lost promises and teardrops meet. Don't rush the tempo, just let it stay blue under this sky that reminds me of you. Vanish into the grave. Shattered glass pieces are strewn on the floor, reflecting the daylight that creeps through the door. A fragile alliance that couldn't sustain the weight of the winter and the endless rain. A cold constellation of silver and sharp, vibrating like strings on a broken harp. At the fractions that scatter the mat, wondering where our sweet harmony sat. Each splinter contains a small version of you, drowned in a deep and melancholy blue. Sweep them away to a corner unseen, erasing the places where we had once been. Be careful not to step on the shards of the past. They hold a sharp edge that was meant to last. With every diminished chord breaking the quiet night, we fade from the spectrum of memory and light. Shattered glass pieces are strewn upon the kitchen floor, reflecting the dim daylight that creeps through the back door. A fragile alliance that couldn't possibly sustain the weight of the winter and the endless pouring rain. A cold constellation of silver and sharp design, vibrating like strings on a broken harp of mine. I look at the fractions that scatter the woolen mat, wondering where our sweet vocal harmony sat. Each single splinter contains a small version of you, drowned completely in a deep and melancholy blue. Sweep them away to a corner that stays unseen, erasing the places where we had once been. Be careful not to step on the shards of our past. They hold a sharp edge that was meant to always last. With every diminished chord breaking the quiet night, we fade from the spectrum of memory and light. Walk out the door into the misty downpour. No reason to look for a definitive sign anymore. The path is washed out and the markers are all gone, leaving us stranded right before the new dawn. Be careful not to step on the shards of our past. They hold a sharp edge that was meant to always last. With every diminished chord breaking the quiet night, we fade from the spectrum of memory and light. The spectrum of light. Pack up the ledger before the day breaks. Count the components of all our mistakes. The runway is covered in a heavy gray fog, like a final entry in a captain's log. The engines are humming a low minor drone as I take a seat in the cabin alone, taking the last flight through the rainy night sky, waving a slow and definitive goodbye to all the complex patterns we used to share, dissolving completely into the cold air. Looking down at the city, a cluster of blurs as the ultimate feeling of freedom occurs, flying straight into the dark silver cloud, where the absolute silence is heavy and loud, disappearing from every familiar place, leaving no shadow or a single trace, taking the last flight through the rainy night sky, waving a slow and definitive goodbye to all the complex patterns we used to share, dissolving completely into the cold air. Let the altitude guide the mind, leaving the mess and the sorrow behind. A beautiful emptiness opens up wide, with nothing left to maintain or to hide, taking the last flight through the rainy night sky, a slow and definitive goodbye to all the complex patterns we used to share, dissolving completely into the cold air. A beautiful emptiness, the charcoal is smudging on the drawing paper white, tracing the cold boundaries of a long and lonely night. The rain has a way of dissolving the clean lines of our most beautiful and sophisticated designs. I watch the sketch soften into a dark blur as the old shadows of your presence recur. Behind the heavy mist, the geometric shapes start to bend, a slow motion sequence that leads directly to the end, with every altered dominant that breaks the space. I slowly forget the symmetry of your face. A chilly wind whistles through the window frame crack, bringing the bitterest memories of summer back. The entire city is drowning charcoal dust. There's nothing left in this sequence to trust. We are just phantoms inside a dark picture frame, forgetting the vowels that make up your name. Behind the heavy mist, the geometric shapes start to bend, a slow motion sequence that leads directly to the end. With every altered dominant that breaks the space, I slowly forget the symmetry of your face. Symmetry, blur. Symmetry, blur. Up the ledger before the cold day breaks. Count the components of all our major mistakes. The runway's covered in a heavy and dark gray fog, like a final entry inside a captain's log. The engines are humming a low minor drone as I take my seat in the quiet cabin alone, taking the last flight through the rainy night sky, waving a slow and a definitive goodbye to all the complex patterns we used to share, dissolving completely into the cold rainy air. Looking down at the city, a cluster of blurry lights, ending all our beautiful and lonely nights, flying straight into the dark silver cloud, where the absolute silence is heavy and loud, disappearing from every single familiar place, leaving no shadow or a single traceable trace, taking the last flight through the rainy night sky, waving a slow and a definitive goodbye to all the complex patterns we used to share, dissolving completely into the cold rainy air. Close your eyes, let the high altitude guide the mind, leaving the mess and the old sorrow far behind. A beautiful emptiness opens up so wide, with nothing left to maintain or to hide, taking the last flight through the rainy night sky, waving a slow and a definitive goodbye to all the complex patterns we used to share, dissolving completely into the cold rainy air. charcoal is smudging on the paper white, tracing the boundaries of a lonely night. The rain has a way of dissolving the lines of our most beautiful and complex designs. I watch the sketch soften into a blur as the old shadows of your presence recur. Behind the mist, the shapes start to bend, a slow motion sequence that leads to the end. With every altered dominant that breaks the space, I slowly forget the symmetry of your face. A chilly wind whistles through the window crack, bringing the bitterest memories back. The city is drowning in an ocean of gray, sweeping the remaining colors away. We tried to carve love on a surface of ice, paying a heavy and permanent price. Behind the mist, the shapes start to bend, a slow motion sequence that leads to the end. With every altered dominant that breaks the space, I slowly forget the symmetry of your face. The paper and scatter the dust. There's nothing left in this sequence to trust. We are just phantoms inside a dark frame, forgetting the vowels that make up your name. Behind the mist, the shapes start to bend, a slow motion sequence that leads to the end. With every altered dominant that breaks the space, I slowly forget the symmetry of your face. Scatter the dust. Scatter the dust. Twilight is painting a purple velvet line across the dark horizon where the storm clouds align. The water is heavy on the garden petals outside, in this quiet corner where my thoughts can safely abide. I hear the slow weeping of a single cello string, a melancholic sequence that the midnight hours bring. Your silk scarf is resting on the old sofa couch, holding a fragrance that I can no longer avouch. I sit in the shadows and let the dark space grow into a sanctuary that only you and I know. The cadence of raindrops is rhythmic and deep, a heavy companion before I can fall into sleep. Purple velvet hours are wrapping my lonely mind, leaving the messy arguments far behind. With every syncopated chord that vibrates the air, I dissolve completely into this peaceful despair. Syncopated chord that vibrates the air, I dissolve completely into this peaceful despair. Peaceful despair. The incense is burning down into the tray, turning the colorful choices to gray. A solitary shadow is cast on the wall, watching the heavy rain filter and fall. The air is too thick with the scent of the past, a beautiful sequence that wasn't meant to last. I trace the dust motes that dance in the room, sinking right into this lavender gloom. You left a sweater behind on the chair, but the warmth has dissolved in the chilly night air. No letters to write and no promises made, just watching the embers of intimacy fade. Listen to the water, it sings in a key that opens the locked up chambers of me. A minor 11 that vibrates so deep, soothing the memories that I wanted to keep. Let the night stretch out as long as it can before the early morning breaks our plan. We don't need a fire, we don't need a light to guide us through this melancholy night. Listen to the water, it sings in a key that opens the locked up chambers of me. A minor 11 that vibrates so deep, soothing the memories that I wanted to keep. dark clouds align. The water is heavy on the petals outside. In this quiet corner where my thoughts can abide, I hear the slow weeping of a cello string, a melancholic song that the dark hours bring. Your silk scarf is resting on the velvet couch, holding a fragrance that I can't avouch. I sit in the shadows and let the room grow into a sanctuary that only we know. The cadence of raindrops is steady and deep, a heavy companion before I can sleep. Purple velvet hours are wrapping my mind, leaving the messy arguments far behind. With every altered chord that vibrates the air, I dissolve into this peaceful despair. Leaving the messy arguments far behind. With every altered chord that vibrates the air, I dissolve into this peaceful despair. Peaceful despair. The vinyl record skips upon a dusty line, a repetitive shadow of your heartbeat and mine. The aroma of the kitchen has turned a bit sour in the exact center of this heavy rainy hour. I count the miniature cracks on the old desk, finding the geometric patterns so grotesque. We are just loops inside a fractured design, drifting along on a distorted minor line. Don't look for answers, don't look for the key. Just float completely on this unforgiving sea. An abandoned umbrella lies flat on the street, soaked in the muddy puddles where the currents meet. It looks like a wing that was broken in a flight, a tragic illustration in the middle of the night. We tried to soar high through the cloud and the mist, chasing a peaceful island that didn't exist. We We are just loops inside a fractured design, drifting along on a distorted minor line. Don't look for answers, don't look for the key. Just float completely on this unforgiving sea. Are flickering under the wet weight of a silent and heavy and unyielding fate. Clear up the fractions from the ceramic plate. We reach the ending and it's getting way too late. We are just loops inside a fractured design, drifting along on a distorted minor line. Don't look for answers, don't look for the key. Just float completely on this unforgiving sea. A fractured design. The incense is melting down into the glass tray, turning the colorful elements into a shade of gray. A lonely silhouette is projected on the side wall, watching the constant rain filter and slowly fall. The room is too heavy with the fragrance of the past, a beautiful sequence that wasn't designed to last. I trace the dust motes that circulate the room, drowning completely in this heavy lavender gloom. You left a wool sweater behind on the armchair, but the remaining warmth has dissolved in the air. No letters to complete and no more promises made, just watching the embers of our intimacy fade. Listen to the water, it sings in a minor key that unlocks the hidden chambers deep inside of me. A nylon vibration that resonates so deep, soothe the memories that I always wanted to keep. Stretch out as long as it possibly can, before the early dawn breaks our fragile plan. We don't need a fire, we don't need a light to guide our spirits through this melancholic night. Listen to the water, it sings in a minor key that unlocks the hidden chambers The ink of the sky is bleeding into gray, stealing the leftover smiles of the day. I stare at the steam from my porcelain cup, watching the lonely illusions grow up. A single heavy droplet hits the cold stone, a steady reminder that I am alone. The clock on the wall is dragging its hands like a weary traveler in frozen lands. Your empty chair has a shadow so deep, holding the secrets that we couldn't keep. No footsteps coming up the wooden stair, just the cold currents of the misty air. Listen to the rain as it falls on the street, where our lost promises and teardrops meet. Don't rush the tempo, just let it stay blue, under this sky that reminds me of you. The neon signs outside are turned into stains, blurring the edges of my silent pains. I turn the page of a book I can't read, chasing a comfort I no longer need. Another hour is dissolving like smoke, buried inside every word that we broke. Listen to the rain as it falls on the street, where our lost promises and teardrops meet. Don't rush the tempo, just let it stay blue, under this sky that reminds me of you. Vanish into the grave. Shattered glass pieces are strewn on the floor, reflecting the daylight that creeps through the door. A fragile alliance that couldn't sustain the weight of the winter and the endless rain. A cold constellation of silver and sharp, vibrating like strings on a broken harp. At the fractions that scatter the mat, wondering where our sweet harmony sat. Each splinter contains a small version of you, drowned in a deep and melancholy blue. Sweep them away to a corner unseen, erasing the places where we had once been. Be careful the shards of the past. They hold a sharp edge that was meant to last. With every diminished chord breaking the quiet night, we fade from the spectrum of memory and light. Before the new dawn, be careful not to step on the shards of the past. They hold a sharp edge that was meant to last. With every diminished chord breaking the quiet night, we fade from the spectrum of memory and light. Fade from the light. Shattered glass pieces are strewn upon the kitchen floor, reflecting the dim daylight that creeps through the back door. A fragile alliance that couldn't possibly sustain the weight of the winter and the endless pouring rain. A cold constellation of silver and sharp design, vibrating like strings on a broken harp of mine. I look at the fractions that scatter the woolen mat, wondering where our sweet vocal harmony sat. Each single splinter contains a small version of you, drowned completely in a deep and melancholy blue. Sweep them away to a corner that stays unseen, erasing the places where we had once been. Be careful not to step on the shards of our past. They hold a sharp edge that was meant to always last. With every diminished chord breaking the quiet night, we fade from the spectrum of memory. before the new dawn. Be careful not to step on the shards of our past. They hold a sharp edge that was meant to always last. With every diminished chord breaking the quiet night, we fade from the spectrum of memory and light. The spectrum of light. The vinyl is skipping on a scratched up line, a repetitive ghost of your rhythm and mine. The aroma of coffee has turned a bit sour in the heavy center of this rainy hour. I follow the cracks on the old wooden desk, finding the pattern so strange and grotesque. We are just loops in a broken design, sailing on a dark and distorted line. Don't look for the meaning, don't look for the key. Just drift on this deep and unforgiving sea. An abandoned umbrella is left on the street, soaked in the puddles where the currents meet. It looks like a wing that was broken in two, a tragic reminder of me and of you. We tried to fly high through the cloud and the mist, chasing a harbor that didn't exist. We are just loops in a broken design, sailing on a dark and distorted line. Don't look for the meaning, don't look for the key. Just drift on this deep and unforgiving sea. The street lamps are flickering under the weight of a silent and heavy and unyielding fate. Sweep up the crumbs from the porcelain plate. We reach the ending and it's getting late. We are just loops in a broken design, sailing on a dark and distorted line. Don't look for the meaning, don't look for the key. Just drift on this deep and unforgiving sea. A broken design. broken design.